I've been chosen to entertain you nice folks. Now,
Pam, is
at
it
my
on?
senior clubs, I'm always asked to tell a couple of jokes. And some years ago, I could go on for half an hour. But now that I'm 59 years old...
How old?
Well...
Is that a true story?
Where's the heckler?
I'm cutting a couple off. I have to have a little prompting cards. So I picked some jokes out. I got a big repertoire.
Oh.
But, so relax. It's only going to take 2 hours or 2.5 hours.
How big was that repertoire? Okay, wait, go ahead.
Well, a lot of cards.
Well, Gary should be done eating by the time you're done with your thing.
Oh, Gary, have another hamburger.
The woman went to the doctor. And she was accused of poisoning her husband. And the husband said, she's tried to poison me twice. So the doctor said, I'll talk to her. So he took the woman into the adjoining office and talked to her for 2 hours. When he came out, he said to the man, take the poison.
That was good.
Now, I want to tell you something. Generally, Margie is here with me, and she has a hearty laugh. And laughter is contagious. And Linda just laughed kind of loud, and you all joined in. So I'm glad you're here, Lynn.
Well, funny joke. Very good.
Is that a true story?
Yes, yes.
True story.
I went to the barber shop on Livingston Avenue, and there was a man, you know,
Wow.
waiting. And so a man popped in and he said, how long is the wait? And the barber said, well, about 20, 25 minutes. So he disappeared. And the barber said, you know, that guy's come in here 3 weeks in a row and asked, how long is the wait? He said to the other fellow, would you follow him and see where he goes? The fellow come back about 10 minutes and said, he went straight to your house.
I don't get it.
Don't forget, Babe Ruth didn't hit a home run every time.
Yogiism.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and I knew his wife's birthday was the next week, and he said, my wife wanted a diamond ring or a Jeep car. So a week later I ran into him, I said, what did you get your wife? He said, I bought her a diamond ring. I said, not the Jeep car? He said, where can you get a fake Jeep? Thanks, Linda. I need you.
More food.
we want the
Girl, what can I say?
we want the Texan joke. The Texan joke.
Blinky joke. Where's that like umbrella hook? The blinky joke. The arm.
A woman went up to Willowbrook Mall and she had her lab dog in the back of the car, and she rolled the windows down a little bit, and as she backed away from the car, the dog's benefit, she said, stay, stay, stay. And it was the man walking by. He said, lady, wouldn't it be easier to put the car in park?
These are new ones.
I know, he's got new ones.
Now, this girl had a younger sister, just got out of high school, and they bought her a cheap car, $600. But the car was always breaking down, and she would call her sister to come and pick her up. So sure enough, the sister got the call. She said, what's wrong now? She said, the brakes failed. I had no brakes at all. He said, where are you? She said, at Eisenhower and Eagle Rock Avenue, in the drugstore. And the sister said, well, where's the car? She said, it's in here with me. Brakes failed. I'll explain
Throw
it.
that joke away.
I thought
Remember, babe,
Thank you, Bob.
Texan joke.
Is that the blinky?
A blinky.
Yeah,
He doesn't need his cards for
this man went into the confessional, and he told the priest, he said, I'm having an affair with 20 years old. And the priest said, may I ask your age? He said, I'm 60 years old. He said, when was your last confession? He said, I didn't go to confession. I'm Jewish. The priest said, well, why are you telling me? And the man said, I'm telling everybody. The two elderly ladies were in church, and the minister was quite long-winded. And the one lady said to the other, she said, you know, this speech is so long, my butt's going to sleep. And the other lady said, I know, I heard a snore 3 times.
That was good.
And 2 hillbillies.
Are these all true stories?
He's on a roll.
Keep it going.
It's going, it's going.
On a roll now. Don't stop the momentum.
It isn't broken, is it?
Two hillbillies were visiting New York, and they went into this fancy.
Wait a minute. Pam, am I supposed to press record? It's on, it's a go.
Oh my God.
Start over.
What about the voice?
Oh, no, it's going. I'm only kidding.
This is a very rowdy. Only the seniors are nice and quiet.
Really?
They're asleep.
Their butts are snoring, right? Yeah.
Linda, what were those pants called? I haven't got all the pants now on the camera.
Get his pants.
Gets pants. Oh.
Yes? Lacoste.
Lacoste. Okay, go ahead.
Well, the two hillbillies went to New
Did
York.
Stefano leave yet, or she's still? Oh.
What?
Little quiet, Gary.
I
I don't talk when you're eating.
One for the comic.
Good guy.
He's gone.
2 for the comic.
Well, the 2 hillbillies.
Billy!
I think the joke's about you, Bill. Psychologically.
They went to New York, and they're eating in a nice restaurant. And the lady in the adjacent table chilled in a piece of steak, and she was turning blue. So the one hillbilly jumped up, lifted her skirt, pulled down her underpants, and licked her cheek. When he got back to the table, well, the woman was so surprised, the steak come right up. So when he got back to the table, the other hillbilly said, you know, I heard about that Heimlich maneuver, but I never saw it work.
Well, these are getting raunchy now.
Do they get better is the question.
How about the Texan joke?
We don't have any.
Are any demonstrations? No.
Now, I had a friend, Joey. He's a nice guy, but he was not too bright. But he got married. And after the wedding and the reception, they were driving to their hotel. And he reached over and put his hand on her thigh. And she said, now that we're married, you can go further. That stupid guy drove all the way to Canada.
Babe Ruth.
I wish I had a snare drum and a cymbal. Anyway.
Henny Youngman's rolling over his grave.
This is a true story. I had a friend for years and years. He was bent over with a cane. And I happened to be at the Manor, and I was sitting next to an orthopedic doctor, and I was telling him about my friend. He said, well, come over to the office next Wednesday, and I'll see what I can do for him. Well, we went over, Joey and I, got called in, and in about 20 minutes he'd come out, still had a cane, but he was walking like this. I said, Joey, it's a miracle. What could that doctor do in 20 minutes? He said, he gave me a longer cane.
Texan joke.
That's funny.
Not too many more of them.
Mr. Blinky.
It was good.
The Texan joke. Linda's never heard that one.
I haven't heard it.
This is the best.
You know, I ran into another lady friend of mine
I think that's a scoop to
at the
garage.
ShopRite, and I said, Mabel, how you doing? She said, okay. I said, how's Fred, your husband? She said, fine. What's the matter with him? She said, well, he lost $70,000 in the stock market. I said, oh my goodness, if I lost $70,000 in the stock market, I couldn't sleep at night. She said, he sleeps like a baby. I said, he lost $70,000 and he sleeps like a baby? She said, yes, he wakes every 2 hours and cries. This son in California, for Mother's Day, he wanted to send his mother something real nice. So he went into the pet store and he saw this beautiful bird. And he said to the owner, it's a beautiful bird, how much is it? He said, well, that's $2,000. He said, because that bird can talk. In fact, he could say 300 words. And the man thought, that'd be a nice gift for my mother. So he had a package sent to his mother. And 2 days later he called and said, Mom, how was that bird? She said, it was delicious. He said, Mom, she said, oh yeah, I cooked it, it was delicious. He said, Mom, that was an expensive bird. That bird could say 300 words. She said, well, why didn't he say something? Don't forget, these are for seniors. They're nice, gentle people.
I was going back to the Heimlich maneuver.
The lady went to the pharmacy and she said, I'd like some arsenic. He said, I can't sell you arsenic. He said, that's against the law. Why do you want arsenic? She said, well, I found my husband was cheating on me. He said, well, I still can't give you the arsenic. So she showed him a picture of her husband and his wife in bed. The pharmacist said, why didn't you tell me you had a prescription? They're sticking together.
So many jokes.
I like that one.
Thanks, Liz.
We got a laugh out of her.
That shotgun.
You're in the will again.
You can get a nickel.
I'm louder, Billy Tenenbaum.
And don't spend it more than one place.
Two friends met on the street, and the one friend saw that the other fellow was stuttering pretty bad. He said, you know, 2 weeks ago I had the stutters too, and I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, go home and make love to your wife for 4 hours, he said. And I did, and the stutters went away. He said, you should do the same thing. So next week he ran into the friend. He said, I see your stuttering is gone. He said, yes. He said, I did what you did. And by the way, you have a very nice house. Marty, you got it.
Marty, explain it to us, will you?
I guess he's saying you have a very nice house, Mark.
Bob, be nice.
Three men were at the pearly gates, and St. Peter said to the first one, what was your occupation? And he said, well, I was a fireman in West Orange. He said, oh, he said, come right in, you saved a lot of lives. And he said to the next man, what was your occupation? He said, I was a policeman. And he said, oh, he said, you put a lot of bad guys in jail. He said, come on in. And he said to the third man, what was your occupation? He said, I work for a health maintenance organization, an HMO. So St. Peter said, you can come in, but you only can stay for 3 days.
Seniors joke. Seniors joke. Right.
Well, that's pretty good when you think about it.
Texan joke, the Texan
Think
joke.
about these
He's
things.
nothing like Mr. Blinky.
Now, some of you haven't heard this story.
What the meat slicer?
My sons like it because it's,
pickle.
you know,
Little
Pickle
color.
But anyway, this little midget went into the men's room and stood at the urinal, head on tiptoe. And this big Texan, 6'4", came and stood next to him. And the midget's looking up at him going, and he said, are you making fun of me? He said, no. He said, well, why are you making those funny faces? He said, well, I'm getting splashed.
Much better last time you told him.
Pickle slicer!
Bill likes that. Now, this, you know, sometimes I say it's a true story and it isn't. But this happens to be a true story. About 3 years ago, Bill and I were
Was the highlight
invited to go to a financial seminar at the Manor. And I said, Bill, get dressed up. Get dressed up real nice. And I got dressed up real nice. But anyway, we got there, and I found out that you were supposed to have $400,000 liquid. I don't know how they got my name. But anyway, we had hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, right, Phil? And the dinner came, and it was salmon with soup and salad and wine, the whole bit. But anyway, I was sitting next to a very snooty lady, a lot of jewels, hair done up, beautiful gown. And she said, "How are you?" I said, "Fine." She said, "I live in Short Hills with my husband. My husband's a doctor, and he went to Harvard, and he makes $2 million a year." I said, "Isn't that nice?" And she said, "My daughter went to Yale and is an architect, and she makes $3 million a year." And I said, "Isn't that nice?" And he said, my son is a lawyer, too, and he went to Princeton, and he makes $3 million. I said, "Isn't that nice?" And she said, "And where did you get your education?" I said, "South 8th Street School in Newark." She said, "What could you possibly learn there?" I said, "I learned to say, 'Isn't that nice?'" Long story. But
Well done. That was a true story.
Blink while you're telling it.
like Marty said, Marty told me a couple jokes. And
Marty Myers?
yeah, Marty Mark. And
That Marty Myers?
Using your material.
I'm going to give him some of my old cue cards. But
I don't think he
anyway,
wants.
Marty said it's timing and inflection and kind of acting a little bit, and that's what puts a joke over some.
That's how he got his job, too.
Oh yeah, this man was taking a shortcut through the cemetery, and he saw this man banging his head against a tombstone. He said, "Harry, why did you leave? Harry, you went too soon. Harry, why did you do this?" And so the man said, "Is that a dear relative or son or a brother?" He said, "No, it's my wife's first husband."
Two thumbs up.
That was a good one. That was a new one.
I like the first one better.
Oh yeah.
Did you test any of these out first?
Yeah.
This is the focus group.
You know, I have a lot of doctor jokes and God's jokes and that. But anyway, this couple went to the doctor, and the doctor examined them, and the doctor pulled the lady aside a little bit. So on the way home, the man said, "Well, what did the doctor talk to you about?" The doctor said to bring a specimen of your stool, your urine, and your sperm. He said, "Well, you're going to do that?" She said, "Yeah, I'm going to bring in a pair of your shorts." I know Bob about that. He's got a lot of those shorts around.
I think we all do. Stick to the wall.
This little Jewish lady went to the doctor.
Be careful. Be careful. Leave Marty, too.
Oh, Marty too, yeah. Well, anyway,
Taking notes.
Is this clean?
the doctor said, "Mrs. Cohen, your check come back." She said, "I know, doctor, but so did my arthritis." It's a nice little joke, right?
That was.
I didn't know where it was going. That's all I could say.
That was a good one. That was
All right.
Now,
All right, you're back on.
this middle-aged couple were gardening, and the man looked over and he said, "You know, honey," he said, "you're getting a pretty broad butt there." She kept gardening. He said, "You know, in fact, I think it's as wide as our gas grill." She said, "Oh, come on." So he went and got the yardstick. Yep. So that night he was feeling romantic. He said, "Honey, how about a little loving?" And she said, no way. He said, what's wrong? She said, do you think I'm going to fire up this big old gas grill for one little weenie?
No, that's good.
That was a good one.
How about the meat
I can see
slicer?
what kind of crowd this is. I'm going to go get the other card.
Get the good ones.
Glass of water or anything?
We're challenged.
You don't recognize that one?
What about the meat slicer? That's a good one.
Yeah.
Pickle.
This is coming. Be patient. You can't get all the good ones all at once.
You have to build. You got to build to it.
Yeah, that's the grand finale.
Well, two elderly men were talking, and one said to the other, have you tried Viagra? He said, I tried it, but I didn't do anything. He said, me neither. But the first man said, well, I do take a quarter of Viagra now. And he said, quarter? How could that help? He said, well, now that helps just enough so I don't pee on my shoes.
If I edit these out to get all the good ones in there, I'll have 20 seconds of time. Dad, you only have about 2 minutes left.
Okay.
The battery's gonna go dead?
Yeah.
We'll give him a chance to rest.
The woman,
You want to snooze?
I can't speed it up. I got one speed.
The reverse.
The woman ran after the garbage truck, and she's in her pajamas, bathrobe, yelling,
faster.
am I too late? Am I too late? The garbage driver said, no, jump in.
Henny Youngman.
Henny Youngman is turning over his grave.
We're,
Pickle slicer.
Better do that. They
Pickle
want it
slicer.
on.
Really?
Or a vat of beer.
I think so.
Fat of beer too.
Oh.
Which one now?
The Drowning Men.
Guys can tell me when you want it quick.
No, no.
the camera's going to tell
No,
us.
the camera.
You can't. It's not me, Dad. It's the camera.
Okay. Now, this little nun from St. Philomena, she was making the
Be careful. There's Catholics in the audience.
Jewish, Catholic, Protestant, they're all the same. We have one God. Little sermon in between the two.
Okay, go ahead.
You want a basket?
Well, anyway, this
That would be good.
quiet, Bill. You're out of the will.
You're out of the will.
Get the bomb!
There's
He's
a-
not coming down at the end. We're passing the plate around.
Yeah.
You know, this happened. We were up to Villa Roma, and they had amateur night.
This might be the best joke.
Isn't that the tip jar?
There was a couple of comedians before me, and anyway, and
He saw it was a fin.
no, this actually happened. I was up at Villa Roma.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I said, please don't throw any money or send any money up. I said, don't want to lose my amateur standing. And do you know, some lady threw money, and it took me 2 days to find her to give her nickel and penny back. That's a true story. Now,
It wasn't a joke. was it?
Listen, another joke.
no, that's a true story.
Arm.
Get back to the jokes.
Okay.
The arm joke.
Do the arm joke.
That joke.
We want
Arm and pickles or whatever. Everything together.
Pickle slicer. Pickle.
Arm.
Okay.
The birthday girl.
This is a true story.
Birthday girl. Requested a joke.
Goes off.
Okay, we could do the arm one next.
No,
Birthday.
just do that now.
Okay.
Hold
It's her birthday.
the shotgun away. The camera's running out.
Hey, you better shoot him
Hey,
first.
but you're running out of time. Go.
Go.
There was an industrial accident. The guy was in the cement mixer. He put his arm in to clean it. The thing went on, severed his arm. So he took the arm and he ran down the corner, and he knew there was a doctor there. So the doctor said, I could sew it on. He said, but it will be $3,000. He said, $3,000? So he went down to a little poor neighborhood, and there was a doctor there. The doctor said, I could sew it on for $300. She said, okay. So a week later, he's walking down the street, and he sees the first doctor. He said, ha, you wanted $3,000. I had it done for $300, and here's to you, doctor.
That's it.
Pickle slicer, last one.
1 minute left.
1 minute left for the pickle slicer.
Pick a slicer.
Okay. Now, it's tough economic times. This guy that worked in Wall Street, he got laid off, and he couldn't find a job. He went all over. So one day he came home real happy. He told his wife, I got a job. She said, where? He said, in the pickle factory. And she said, a pickle factory? He said, at least it's a job. So a week later she said, how's the job? He said, well, it's okay. He said, but I got this overwhelming urge to put my penis in the pickle slicer. She said, that's strange. But next week, how's the job? Same thing. He said, I like the job, it's okay, but he said, I got this urge to put my penis in the pickle slicer. So the following week he comes home, she said, what are you doing home? He said, I got fired. She said, how's the pickle slicer? He said, she got fired too. Should I quit now? I
can expect that.
Okay, how do I turn it off?